In a world where people constantly seek approval, where rejection feels like failure, and where comparison steals our joy, it's easy to give away our power without even realizing it. Have you ever felt as if someone else controls your happiness? Do you sometimes wonder why other people's opinions impact you so strongly? Imagine waking up one morning feeling unshaken by anyone's opinions, actions, or words. Picture yourself moving confidently through life with an inner strength that cannot be disturbed. What if you could take back your power and live freely and joyfully? Think about it, like holding a glass of water. If someone bumps into you, the water spills out. But if you hold that glass tightly, no one can shake it. Today, we're diving into 7 powerful lessons that will help you stop giving power to others and reclaim control over your emotions, your confidence, and your life. Let's begin. 1. Stop seeking validation from others. One of the most common ways people unknowingly give away their power is by constantly seeking approval from others. Whether it's through social media likes, compliments at work, or validation from friends and family, we often crave reassurance that we are enough. But when you rely on external validation to feel worthy, you hand over the reins of your self-esteem to others. Their opinions, moods, and judgments become the foundation of how you view yourself. The truth is, real confidence comes from within. You cannot expect others to consistently build you up when you aren't building yourself up from the inside. The world can't always affirm you, and trying to chase that approval will leave you feeling empty and frustrated. You need to cultivate self-approval by recognizing your worth, independent of external feedback. How can you start? By setting small goals that align with your values and celebrating your achievements. Instead of asking, "Do they like me?" ask, "Do I like myself?" This subtle shift in mindset is a game changer. When you truly validate yourself, external validation becomes a nice bonus, but not a necessity. 2. Don't let criticism define you. Criticism can either be a tool for growth or a weapon of destruction, depending on how you choose to perceive it. When we let criticism control our emotions, it has the power to break us down. But here's the thing, not all criticism is created equal. There's constructive criticism, which is meant to help you improve, and then there's destructive criticism, which is simply aimed at hurting you. If you allow all forms of criticism to define you, you give other people the power to shape your identity. You begin living your life based on how others think you should act, look, or speak. The key here is to learn to filter criticism. Listen to feedback that genuinely helps you grow and ignore the noise of negativity that comes from people who aren't invested in your well-being. A powerful way to handle criticism is by cultivating emotional resilience. When you hear something negative about yourself, instead of reacting immediately, pause. Reflect on the intention behind the words. Ask yourself, is this feedback coming from a place of care or a place of bitterness? If it's constructive, take it on board. If it's destructive, remind yourself that not everyone's opinion deserves space in your mind. 3. Set boundaries and stick to them. Boundaries are the invisible lines that protect your time, energy, and emotional well-being. Yet, so many of us struggle to set them because we fear disappointing others or being seen as selfish. But here's the truth. Without boundaries, you allow others to overstep, dictate your life, and drain your energy. When you set boundaries, you're not being mean or selfish. You're protecting your peace. Boundaries are a powerful form of self-respect. They tell the world, this is how I expect to be treated. And when you enforce them, you regain control over your life. Boundaries can be as simple as saying no when someone asks you to do something that conflicts with your priorities, or as complex as limiting how much emotional labor you give to certain relationships. The key to effective boundaries is consistency. It's not enough to set them. You have to stick to them. People may resist or test your boundaries, especially if they're used to you being overly accommodating. But the more you stand firm, the more you reinforce your self-worth. The message becomes clear. You value yourself enough to protect your energy. 4. Don't let rejection break you. Rejection is one of the most painful human experiences, but it is also one of the most important teachers. When we face rejection, whether in relationships, jobs, or friendships, it's easy to take it personally and let it damage our self-worth. But rejection is not a reflection of your value. It's simply a redirection. It's the universe's way of closing one door so that another, better one, can open. If you allow rejection to break you, you're essentially giving someone else the power to decide your future. Just because one person or one opportunity didn't work out doesn't mean there aren't countless other doors waiting for you. The key is to shift your mindset. Instead of asking, "Why did they reject me?" ask, "What lesson can I learn from this, and how can I grow?" Rejection builds resilience, and resilience is the key to reclaiming your power. Every no you face brings you one step closer to a yes that aligns with your path. Don't let one moment of rejection stop you from pursuing your goals. Lesson 5. Take responsibility for your emotions. Have you ever noticed how easy it is to point fingers when things don't go as planned? We often hear ourselves say things like, "They made me angry," "She ruined my day," or "He upset me." In these moments, we're unknowingly giving away our power. We're letting other people dictate how we feel, as if they have control over our emotions. But here's an important truth. No one, absolutely no one, can control your emotions except for you. Taking responsibility for your emotions is about understanding that while you can't control what happens to you in life, you can always control how you choose to respond to those situations. You might not be able to stop someone from saying something hurtful or unfair, but you have the power to decide how much weight you give to their words. You can either let their negativity fester inside you, causing frustration and resentment, or you can choose to let it roll off your back, recognizing that their words don't define your worth or how you should feel. Think of it this way. Life is full of unexpected challenges, moments that can trigger anger, sadness, or disappointment. But you hold the key to your emotional response. If someone cuts you off in traffic, you can either react with road rage or take a deep breath and remind yourself that one incident shouldn't ruin your entire day. If a coworker criticizes your work, you can either internalize that criticism and feel defeated, or you can view it as feedback and use it to grow stronger. When you take ownership of your emotions, you reclaim your power. You stop relying on external circumstances or other people's actions to determine how you feel. This is not about suppressing your emotions or pretending that nothing bothers you. It's about processing your emotions in a healthy, constructive way that aligns with your values and goals. When you take responsibility for your emotional well-being, you become the author of your own emotional experience. It's incredibly empowering to know that no one can dictate how you feel unless you allow them to. By shifting the focus from blaming others to controlling your own reactions, you'll find that you're not as easily rattled by what people say or do. You'll feel a sense of calm and strength in knowing that you are in charge of how you respond to any situation. This is the ultimate form of emotional freedom, and it starts the moment you take responsibility for your feelings. 6. Don't let comparison steal your joy. One of the most damaging habits we can develop is comparing ourselves to others. Whether it's looking at someone's success, their relationships, their appearance, or their lifestyle, comparison has the sneaky ability to make us feel like we're falling short. In today's world, with social media constantly displaying people's highlight reels, it's easier than ever to slip into the habit of comparing ourselves to others. But here's the problem. Comparison not only robs us of joy, it also causes us to hand over our personal power. When you compare yourself to someone else, you're essentially saying that their achievements or qualities are more valuable than your own. You start measuring your self-worth against their successes, and often this leads to feelings of inadequacy, envy, and frustration. What we often forget is that we are only seeing one part of their story. We don't see the struggles, the failures, or the obstacles they've faced. We're comparing our full, messy reality to their carefully curated highlight reel, which is an unfair comparison from the start. It's crucial to remember that everyone's journey is different. We all have our own timelines, our own paths to success, and our own unique set of strengths. What works for one person might not work for you, and that's okay. Just because someone else seems to have achieved more or reached a milestone faster than you doesn't mean you're any less capable or worthy. Their success does not diminish yours. In fact, by focusing too much on what others are doing, you lose sight of your own progress and the unique qualities that make you who you are. One of the best ways to break free from the comparison trap is to practice gratitude. When you focus on what you have instead of what you lack, you start to realize that your life is full of blessings and achievements that are worth celebrating. Take a moment every day to reflect on your own successes, big or small. Write them down if it helps. It could be something as simple as completing a task you've been putting off or learning a new skill. When you acknowledge your own progress, you'll start to see that you have plenty to be proud of, regardless of what anyone else is doing. Another powerful strategy to combat comparison is to shift your mindset from competition to inspiration. Instead of feeling threatened by someone else's success, let it motivate you. Use it as proof that success is possible and that if they can do it, so can you. Let other people's achievements inspire you to push harder, to grow, and to reach your own potential. But remember, your journey is your own. Focus on becoming the best version of yourself, not a copy of someone else. Remind yourself that you are only ever in competition with one person, yourself. Your goal should be to improve a little bit each day, to become better than you were yesterday, not better than someone else. When you stop comparing yourself to others and start focusing on your own growth, you take back your power. You begin to live life on your own terms instead of constantly chasing after someone else's version of success. Think of it like running a race. If you spend the entire race looking at the people running next to you, you'll slow down, lose focus, and possibly stumble. But if you keep your eyes forward, focusing on your own lane, you'll run faster and stronger. Life works the same way. The moment you stop looking at what others are doing and focus on your own progress, you'll move forward with confidence and joy. So the next time you catch yourself comparing your life to someone else's, take a deep breath and remind yourself, their journey is theirs and mine is mine. Focus on what you can control, your own actions, your own growth, and your own happiness. That's where your power lies. Comparison may be tempting, but it will always steal your joy if you let it. By choosing to focus on your own path, you reclaim your happiness and your peace of mind. 7. Practice self-approval daily. Perhaps the most powerful lesson of all is learning to approve of yourself. In a world where we are constantly bombarded by other people's opinions, societal standards, and external pressures, it can be easy to fall into the trap of seeking validation from outside sources. Whether it's praise from a boss, likes on social media, or the approval of family and friends, many of us depend on these external forms of validation to feel worthy. But here's the reality. No amount of external approval will ever fill the void if you don't approve of yourself first. Self-approval is about recognizing your own worth, independent of what others think or say. It's about standing firm in who you are, flaws and all, and knowing that you are enough just as you are. This doesn't mean you stop growing or striving to become a better version of yourself. Instead, it means that your worth isn't tied to your achievements, your appearance, or the opinions of others. It means that your value comes from within, and it's unshakable. Why is this so important? Because when you seek approval from others, you give them the power to control how you feel about yourself. If they approve, you feel good. If they disapprove, you feel bad. You end up living on an emotional roller coaster, constantly chasing the next moment of validation. This is a never-ending cycle, and it leaves you vulnerable to being manipulated or feeling inadequate when the approval isn't there. The key to breaking free from this cycle is to practice self-approval every single day. But what does that look like in practice? It starts with affirming your worth to yourself consistently. Instead of waiting for others to compliment you or acknowledge your efforts, make it a habit to recognize your own strengths, talents, and accomplishments. Each morning, take a moment to affirm your value. It could be as simple as saying, "I am worthy of love and respect," or "I am proud of who I am and what I'm becoming." These affirmations may seem small, but over time, they have a profound impact on how you see yourself. Another way to practice self-approval is by acknowledging your progress, no matter how small. We often focus so much on what we haven't achieved or what we still need to work on that we forget to celebrate how far we've come. Every step forward, no matter how small, is a victory. If you've learned a new skill, overcome a challenge, or even just made it through a tough day, give yourself credit for that. Learning to appreciate your own efforts builds confidence and reinforces the idea that you don't need anyone else's approval to feel accomplished. It's also important to be kind to yourself when things don't go as planned. Many of us are our own harshest critics, beating ourselves up when we make mistakes or fall short of our expectations. But self-approval isn't about being perfect. It's about embracing your imperfections and understanding that mistakes are part of the journey. When you slip up, instead of criticizing yourself, offer yourself the same kindness and understanding that you would offer to a friend. Tell yourself, "It's okay to make mistakes. I'm learning and growing every day." Self-approval also means trusting your instincts and honoring your own values. Too often we look to others to tell us what we should do, how we should act, or what choices we should make. But no one knows you better than you know yourself. Trust that inner voice that tells you what feels right and aligns with your true self. When you live according to your own values, instead of trying to meet the expectations of others, you'll find a deep sense of fulfillment and peace. Self-approval is a daily practice because it's not something that happens overnight. Just like building physical strength requires regular exercise, building self-approval requires regular mental and emotional work. You have to remind yourself every day that you are worthy of your own love, respect, and approval. Some days will be easier than others, but the more you practice, the stronger your sense of self-worth will become. Think of self-approval as the foundation of your emotional and mental well-being. When that foundation is strong, external validation becomes less important. Whether people praise you or criticize you, it doesn't shake your sense of who you are. You become grounded in your own approval, and that gives you the power to navigate life with confidence, resilience, and joy. So, starting today, commit to making self-approval a daily habit. Remind yourself of your worth, celebrate your progress, and be kind to yourself in moments of failure. You are enough, just as you are, and no one else's opinion can change that unless you let it. Remember, the key to not giving power to others is realizing that you are in control of your own life, emotions, and self-worth. These 7 lessons are your guide to reclaiming that control. Start today by applying one or more of these principles to your life and watch how your confidence and inner strength grow. So, which lesson resonated with you the most? Let me know in the comments below. And if you found this video helpful, be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more content to help you take back your power.